Of the some 31,102 or 3 verses in the Bible, depending on which version you might read, there's one verse that's given to a man by the name of Simon of Cyrene. Simon of Cyrene does something in the Bible that no one else ever did and no one else will ever do. Simon was a bystander in Jerusalem the day that Jesus was carrying his cross through the narrow streets. And for some reason, Jesus couldn't carry his cross. And it was at that time, Roman soldiers were leading the procession, that they grabbed Simon and said, "Hey, you carry the cross." And so that's what Simon did. Simon of Cyrene carried the cross for Jesus. And that's it. That's all we hear of Simon of Cyrene, nothing more. But obviously there's something more going on there than that. And one of the things I'd like to draw out from that is the fact that Jesus couldn't carry his cross. Jesus, who had performed all kinds of miracles, Jesus who healed the sick, Jesus who walked on water, Jesus who raised the dead, Jesus couldn't carry his cross. Right to the very end, out of his humanity, out of his vulnerability, of his humility, Jesus is teaching and he's demonstrating things, and right here now he's one of the things he's demonstrating is this, that it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what your position is in life, it doesn't matter how in control of things you are, that at some point you're going to need someone else, that you can't do it yourself, that there's got to be someone else there to help you along the way. You got to be. That's what he's demonstrating. You remembered the shepherd boy David. He takes a stone and he puts it in a sling and he takes down the Philistine giant Goliath. But did you know that Goliath also had a brother, Ishbi-Benob, and he was a giant as well. And there was another time when David became king that they were in battle with the Philistines once again, and Ishbi-Benob was out to get David. And David was completely exhausted. It looked like he was going to be killed, and he wasn't going to be able to fend off the giant. And that's when a friend of David's, Abishai, jumps into the fray, and he rescues David. And there's also the prophet Elijah who performed all kinds of miracles, Elijah who called down fire from the heavens. And then on another occasion, we see Elijah in the desert, under a tree, curled up, depressed, despondent, in despair, wanting to die, because there were people out to get him. And that's when Elisha comes alongside, and in a way he rescues the prophet Elijah. You know, there are days when we can carry the cross to however far we want to carry it. And there are days we can attack and fend off the giants. And there's days we feel like we can call down fire from the heavens. And then if you're like me, there's lots of times I stumble with the cross. I'm exhausted like David. I'm curled up and I can't go on any further. And that's when we need someone else. That's when we need an Abishai. That's when we need a Hannah. That's when we need a Lydia. That's when we need someone else to come to be with us. And my friends, that's the beauty of the church. That's the body of Christ. This thing called the Christian faith is not an individual solitary project. We need desperately one another. We need others to be with us. David needed that person to be with him. Elijah needed that person to be with him. And Jesus, in his humanity, he had the power to do what Jesus would want to do, but in his humanity, and as I said, his vulnerability and his humility, he allowed someone else to carry his cross for him. I don't know where you are today. You may be on top of the mountain, carrying the cross, fighting off the giants, calling down fire. That's wonderful. If you're a follower of Jesus, good for you, but I challenge you today, if that's where you are, find the one who's under the tree. Find someone who's crushed under the load. Find someone who can't fight off the giants. And if you're under that tree today yourself, if you're burdened underneath the load, just don't wait and sit by the side of the road. Sort of be like blind Bartimaeus. Blind Bartimaeus shouted out, "Jesus, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." He cried out for help, like I did this past week. Cried out to someone. I said, "Could you pray for me? Would you pray for me? Please pray for me." And you know, they came alongside and they prayed for me, and it was wonderful. It made a difference. You know, sometimes a little bit of vulnerability, and sometimes a little bit of humility, and leaning into others is perhaps what we need to get us through challenging times. May you be blessed today, and may the Lord be with you today, and may He just be your presence throughout this week. And it's wonderful today as well that we have Pat George joining us. She's going to share some music with us today. Bless you.
Be a Light by Thomas Rhett. In a time full of war and peace, in a time full of doubt, just believe. Yeah, there ain't that much difference between you and me. In a time full of war and peace, in a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark. You were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. La, 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 la. In a place that needs change, make a difference. In a time full of noise, just listen. 'Cause life is but a breeze they're living. In a place that needs a change, make a difference. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark. You were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. La 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 In a race that you can't win, slow it down. Yeah, you only get one go around. 'Cause the finish line is 6 feet in the ground. In a race you can't win, just slow it down. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark. You were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. Yeah, it's hard to live in color when you just see black and white. In a world full of hate,